would like to do a healing today for a wound in the feminine consciousness. It's been brought to my awareness that when I bring up some ancestral issues to be healed by other healers, that they tend to look away from certain things that I bring up. And I'm not sure if they're just not ready to deal with this in their own life, or if the wound isn't something they relate to, but it has happened a couple times. So for whatever reason, I want that healing to be available to anyone who is ready to heal it in their own life. And so we will look at some things on this channel that people don't want to look at, I guess, for lack of better words. But one of the wounds that I want to address today is in the divine feminine consciousness, so more likely in women. But I suppose it could be in anyone. And that is this, it's a survival strategy because women were not allowed to work and finance their own lives. And so survival strategies well outside of childhood that would extend into adulthood is what they would do in order to survive. And something that has been brought to my awareness in my ancestral line is they would tolerate abuse. And so, I will extend that list to anything else, especially now that at least in the majority of countries, or at least in a lot of countries on this planet, this survival strategy is no longer necessary with, the limitation of a few places. But and if you're brave enough, you can heal it anyways, and just trust God with the consequences. But so yeah, I will extend that to anything else that women or the divine feminine, or even the feminine within a masculine who feels disempowered in the system, would do in order to secure their security. So tolerating abuse, silencing their voice, objectifying themselves, so portraying themselves as an object that has some kind of value, basically kind of selling themselves. So this will, yes, extend to the beauty industry. Neglect themselves, numb themselves, and anything else that I'm not thinking of that is on some level done to survive, but is not a means of thriving. So I would just like to call in the guides. And I do feel holy amethyst here, and of course a lot of divine feminine presence. I feel Kuan Yin. I want to say Mother Teresa, who is a human, a saint, a human. I don't know exactly her presence. That I'm not as familiar with her, but I feel called to say that. And honestly, quite a lot of feminine presences that I'm not sure I know the names of. And God and the divine creator presence is here as well. And so I'm feeling this move in the sacral chakra right off, which is a place that we store both ancestral, inherited beliefs or reactions to life, as well as our own from this life. A belief would be a thought such as, I'm not strong enough, I'm not capable, life's out to get me, it's not fair. Like anything that is a definitive statement that isn't pure love and light is a false belief. A true belief would be like, love is everywhere and God is good and I am enough. So I'm of course referring to false beliefs. And I do feel that this will have an effect on our masculine, our men as well here, even though my subject is, ancestrally speaking, within the women's consciousness. And I feel the energy of water like mist. Wow, it's so lovely. I feel it on my face. It's this mist, and it's purifying. I'm getting the word purifying. And it's really purifying our sensitivity and our sensitivity in the sense that it's for us. It's our ability to perceive and receive life through being alive and sensitive in the way we can feel mist on our face, and it makes our skin feel even more alive and present. Like, that is being alive. And there's the amount that we deny ourselves this it's quite profound. And just using my own personal reference, it's very profound, the sacrifices we make to stay alive and fit in. So this is purifying, returning to that original nature and purifying our sensitivity, which is the divine feminine within all of us. It does remind me of the ocean. Like, I just feel a lot of movement and air. There's so much allowing energy. It's just, it really is so pure divine feminine, like allowing, breathing, feeling, moving energy. And there is no shame, and there is no wrong and right in this space. It's one of the reasons that I love it so much, because there is no good and evil, there is no wrong and right. It just is, and it's a beautiful place to be. And I feel that consciousness moving down the body now and through the sacral, replacing those old beliefs. Feel the color pink. It's again a color that I associate with sensitivity. And I find myself rubbing my fingers together. A lot of this has to do with sensitivity, and even tactile sensitivity. The way we touch things. It's not just emotions, but of course emotions are included, but it's our ability to feel literally. The softness of our own skin, the wind on my face, the chills of my body. It's an indication of aliveness. And it feels good, it feels fresh. I feel like still by the ocean. It's really lovely. Now we're looking at grief, I guess. I feel the presence of grief in the back. It's interesting how it's in the back. And the solar plexus. This could be from having limited our power and just the costs that we've paid in this life and that our ancestors paid for these choices, which they obviously did to survive, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't painful. And so there's a dark green color coming in. It reminds me of moss on a evergreen tree. And it's just coming in slowly, encompassing that grief. And thanking it. Thanking the people for their hardships. who, have paved the way for us to be where we are today. And as we thank them, that moss just encompasses that grief, for it has served its purpose. And it can be transmuted into wisdom. That sometimes sacrifices are necessary, and other times they are not. I feel a deep sense of gratitude moving into the sacral, and it's a purple color. It reminds me of honor. Like, I feel honored. It's making me a bit emotional, to be honest. I feel honored. I'm honored by your choices, your sacrifice. And that allows me to use my power with even greater conviction, because it wasn't won easily. My right to be here was not won easily, and so I hold that with great dignity and conviction. Wow. An honor. This word honor. I still see that dark green energy, and it's in the eyes. I do have green eyes, but the color is so dark green. Not my color. It's this dark green color I'm seeing that's in the eyes. This is very interesting. I feel the energy of grace as well. And this soft, sandy color, pinkish sandy color, peach color, I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's kind of like sanding down the roughness, like the edges that are maybe a little too fierce from such a journey. If we look at the journey being through multiple souls on an ancestral level, that would be a long journey, or even through past lives. That sand and grace is softening any preparedness for adversity that isn't necessary anymore. And we'll leave it to the angels to decide exactly how much. It just feels like the edges. The bulk of that strength is still there, but the edges are softening. A lot of ocean symbolism, like there's a spiral. It's reminding me of a seashell now. And it does take a long time to really... Well, the seashells as we find them on the beach have been usually sanded down quite a bit and affected by the ocean quite a bit before we get them. That's just what I'm thinking about. Just like with the ancestry, like so much goes into everything as we know it that we don't always pause and feel so deeply how much love went into that, and how much time and energy and effort and care and purpose went into each and everything on this planet. And even on an unconscious level, we are all part of God doing that all the time. And I'm still moving my hands, rubbing them together, my fingers. It's kind of reminding me again of the molding things. Like someone once referred to life as molding, like God's workshop for molding people into something, souls into something else, kind of like forge. I think the word is forge, although that's for metal. But that concept is present for some reason here. And I think it's just a way of seeing negative experiences in a more positive light. If you understand it was just a piece of a bigger puzzle that is forging something sacred. And so if we can have reverence and gratitude, and I was going to say gravity, sorry about the airplane, it's quite loud, isn't it? Sincerity about that process, that it can cultivate a kind of strength within to endure parts of that process. Yeah, this feels almost like an ancestral healing in general, just a way to be with our ancestry in general, but it is, my intention was that divine feminine wound in particular. But yes. It does help restore that feeling of being like a link in the chain, and remembering like we are on a chain in a positive light. I mean like a vine, a rope, something that is useful in its whole, and we are just but a link, an important link. We are part of it, but we are very much a part of something bigger. So there's a wisdom being given here and aligned, I guess you could say, for us. It's very strengthening, and there's just, again, so much grace. That green energy is still here, although it's less prominent, so I know where the healing is coming to a close. And I do still see that spiral. Things are moving, and as they continue, it's continuing. There's just this sense of continuation present, that maybe if there was any trauma, it was not feeling like a continuation in the way it should or something, but that energy of continuation is creating movement for us. I just feel a really lovely peace now. There's just this almost still peace. It reminds me a bit of heaven. And I feel it move into the root chakra and settle. And there's this low tide just like waves crashing on a beach, but just the little baby waves, just that lull. And it's so peaceful, and it feels like it will continue on that way, just like the ocean. Thank you.